Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. I'm Simona, I'm a yoga teacher, I'm an empowerment coach, and I started a blog called Ecstatic Living where I'm bringing you some deeper insights about how you can live more consciously. And today we're going to look at a really interesting subject, which is what are the 5 elements? So have you heard about the 5 elements? And I will explain a little bit more about how you can use them to actually deepen your yoga practice, gain some deep understandings about how you can work with them in your yoga practice. It will help you to understand Ayurveda, which is the sister science of yoga. And it can also help you to create more balance in your life in a conscious way. So, what are the elements? If you've been to one of my classes or any other Vinyasa flow classes, you might have heard the elements mentioned. So what are the elements? So for me, for example, when I teach, I really work consciously with the elements. They are one of the inspirations for my classes that help me to create more balance. And in the yoga class, we will always work with different elements. We will actually work with all the elements, but maybe a few, maybe 1 or 2 will be more highlighted. So what are the 5 elements? So the 5 elements, they are called in the yogic tradition Pancha Maha Bhuta. Pancha is 5, Maha means great, and Bhuta are the elements. So in the Vedic tradition and Vedic thinking, everything in the universe, all of life actually consists of these 5 elements. So all physical matter is made of these 5 elements, and they are earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So understanding those really can help us to understand how we can work with matter, and it also helps us to understand the structure of our own body and mind. So I will go a little bit deeper to explain each of the elements and then also how we can actually work with them and what they represent. This is quite a rich subject, so I'm just gonna give you a bit of an overview so you can start to understand. So we have the first element is earth. It's called Prithvi in Sanskrit. The earth element, imagine how is earth. It's dense, it's heavy, it's cold, and it's a little bit more gross. So it's the most grossest of the elements. It's like heavy. It's all about solidity. It's about our foundation. It's about our roots. It's about how are we grounded in our lives. Next element is water. So water is called jala in Sanskrit. It's all about, it's liquid, of course. It's liquid, it's flowing, it's moving in all directions. So not only in one way, but it helps us to open up in new directions. And it has these qualities of it can be a little bit like oily, slimy, like liquidy type of things, yeah? The next element is fire. Fire is a very important element as it's the element of transformation. So it's the first element. If you think about earth and water, they are ruled by gravity, so they're going down, they're heavy. Fire is the first element that starts going up and moving against gravity. And it's the element that has the power to shift and transform all the other elements. And also it's a great purifier. So we work with fire to purify and cleanse and to shift. So this is the fire element. It's called Agni. I forgot to mention Agni, very important. You will hear it in yoga practice. And then the next element is air, Vayu. And obviously air connected to our breath, very important as well. So the air element is obviously light. It's more subtle, we can't see it. But it's still very important, with our breath, like how vital and important the air is around us. So the quality of air is that it moves, it circulates, and it keeps everything in motion. So it can also have a velocity to it. And yeah, it's about movement and lightness. It can be dry as well. And then the next element, which is the most subtle of all the elements, is ether, akasha. So Akasha is the most advanced element. It actually contains all the other elements. And it says that it originates all the other elements. And Akasha is not, I feel it's something we cannot really grasp with our mind because it's very advanced. But imagine that Akasha is representing the space that is there. For example, if you go to a microscope, you look at an atom, as you know. In an atom, there's actually only some very tiny, tiny particles that are actual matter. They are moving very fast, so it appears as if they are solid, but actually 99.9% is space. So this is Akasha. This is the field that holds the space for the other elements. So Akasha is like the container around, and it allows for communication and interaction between the elements. So more advanced, more subtle ether. Yeah? But we work mostly with the 4 elements to really help us. So I will just repeat quickly. So we have earth, water, fire, air, ether. Yeah? All of these represent a certain state of matter. So we can think as an example the solidity of earth. So earth represents a solid state. So for example, ice, when the water is frozen. Then you could have water, is liquid, and steam is the form of air, is like a gas. And then we have the element of fire, which transforms from one state to another. So for example, we have the solid state of ice. You put heat, you put fire, it starts to melt into the liquid state of water. You put more heat, it starts to evaporate into a gas. So can you see how fire can transform from one to another state? So this is the quality of fire. But the elements represent a certain state of matter. And then on a deeper level, in the Vedic philosophy, is that actually all of nature and all of matter is called Prakriti. It's a underlying substance of everything that has different states. So it's like one underlying substance of everything in different states, like different frequencies. But it's one source of all of this, yeah, which is called Prakriti. Good. So I think this gives you a good overview. And then I just want to explain a little bit that elements are also very important in Ayurveda. So Ayurveda is the sister science of yoga. And in Ayurveda, there's a lot being worked with the elements. There's also the Ayurvedic body types. If you've ever done an Ayurvedic reading, your body type will depend on the elements. And the beautiful idea in Ayurveda is that Ayurveda is a science of well-being. So whenever everything is in balance, then we are well and we are healthy. So Ayurveda is very much about proactively actually restoring balance at any time. So we don't even come out of balance, we don't even become sick, but we actually always want to create balance, which keeps us healthy and well and in our full potential. So in the same way, in our yoga practice and through the food we take in, through everything, how we live our life, through our lifestyle, we can actually constantly recreate this balance. And I feel the elements really help us to do this. So I would just say as an example, in a yoga practice, let's say if you've had a very busy week, you've been very stressed at work and you had so much to do and you've been running around, you might not go on the mat and start doing a very intense fire practice. It might not be exactly what you need. Maybe you would need something a little bit more gentle, or maybe a little bit more flowing like water to help you to just like rebalance everything. Yeah. So we generally we want to counterbalance what is going on. Let's say if you have a lot of earth and you're feeling a little bit heavy and a little bit lethargic, then you might want to invite some fire to get things moving again. So it's about understanding and finding the right balance of what is needed. Yeah. So for example, in the yoga practice, we would have the practice of Ashtanga yoga, which has a lot of fire. So it's a very purifying practice, a very fiery practice. It might not always be right for everyone or all the time, in my opinion. And on the other hand, we would have, for example, yin yoga. What do you think, which element is yin connected to? The element of earth. It brings you down to the earth, it slows you down, it grounds you, and you start to connect more with your body. So can you feel how we are using the elements in these ways and also intuitively? So we want to recreate balance. This keeps us healthy. This brings us back into our center. And then also just to explain, when you understand the elements, it's also really helpful in other systems. Let's say, for example, in the tarot, if you're interested in reading tarot cards, there's also this idea of the 4 elements, and also in astrology. So for example, in the tarot, if you've ever had a tarot reading, or if you have cards at home yourself, you know that there are 4 different suits of cards. And you have, for example, the discs, the cards with the discs, they represent earth. Then you have the cups, which represent water. You have wands, which are all about the fire. And then you have swords, which represent air. And so this idea of the elements will come back in different ways once you start to understand them. In astrology, for me, it's very fascinating because I feel I can apply the knowledge from yoga into all these different things as well. So in astrology, we have the earth signs, we have the water signs, we have the fire signs, and we have the air signs. So again, you will be able to reconnect to all these different qualities once you start understanding the main principles of the elements. Good, so I hope this helped you. I hope this gave you a little bit of a bigger overview. It's obviously a really big subject. So dive in, do some more research, and maybe I will do some more videos to share with you. But I hope for now you feel that this can help you to actually go deeper in your practice as well with this understanding, and also really start consciously applying what you need, so balancing with the elements to come back into balance. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe to my new channel. I'm super excited about it. Come over to my page, look at my blog, and you can leave a comment there. I would love to hear how you are applying this knowledge, or what insights you had now through this. And you can also sign up there to join. I will send you some inspiration every week, and join the tribe. So thanks so much for watching, and much love to all of you.